Most people think pennies are worthless, but some are worth a fortune. Rare Lincoln and wheat pennies with special dates, mint marks, and minting errors are selling for hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Before you spend that 1 cent, check it carefully. You might be holding treasure in your pocket. The 1999 United States 1-cent penny may not look like anything out of the ordinary at first glance, but for coin collectors and error hunters, it represents one of those fascinating chapters in modern numismatics where subtle details, striking errors, and high-grade conditions can turn a single cent into a small fortune. At face value, the 1999 penny is simply another Lincoln Memorial cent from a year that produced billions of coins. Yet, when you begin to examine its minting history, the potential for valuable errors, and the role it plays in the larger Lincoln cent series, it becomes clear why this coin is one that should never be overlooked. The Lincoln cent series began in 1909, marking the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the obverse features the now iconic portrait of Lincoln, while the reverse originally carried his initials and the simple wheat stalk design. In 1959, to celebrate the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth and the 50th anniversary of the Lincoln cent, the reverse design was changed to the Lincoln Memorial, created by Frank Gasparo. This reverse continued until 2008, making the 1999 penny one of the last Lincoln Memorial issues before the switch to the Lincoln Bicentennial Series in 2009. By 1999, the coin was struck in the modern composition of copper-plated zinc. Since 1982, pennies have been composed of a zinc core coated with a thin layer of pure copper, replacing the previous solid bronze alloy. The reason for this change was the rising cost of copper, which made it more expensive to produce each cent than its face value. The 1999 penny, therefore, is a typical copper-plated zinc issue, weighing 2.5 grams with a diameter of 19 millimeters. Mintage numbers for the 1999 penny were massive, reflecting America's constant need for circulating coinage. The Philadelphia Mint struck over 5.2 billion coins without a mint mark, while the Denver Mint struck more than 6.3 billion coins with the D mint mark. Additionally, the San Francisco Mint produced more than 3.3 million proof coins for collectors, all with the S mint mark. With such huge numbers, it is easy to assume that all 1999 pennies are common and worth only 1 cent, but this is where condition, rarity, and error varieties change the story dramatically. Condition is one of the first factors collectors look at. Circulated examples of the 1999 penny are usually worth only face value. But in mint state grades, the value quickly rises. Coins graded MS67 red, meaning they are uncirculated with full original red luster, can bring $100 to $200. In MS68 red, the value climbs significantly, sometimes reaching $1,500 to $3,000. These high-grade coins are rare because copper-plated zinc cents are prone to spotting, streaking, or poor strikes, making pristine survivors difficult to locate. Proof coins graded PR70 Deep Cameo with perfect mirror-like fields and frosted devices are also highly desirable, often selling for $50 to $150 depending on demand. The real excitement with the 1999 penny, however, lies in its error varieties. One of the most famous errors is the 1999 wide AM cent. On the reverse of Lincoln Memorial cents from 1993 through 2008, the letters AM in America are supposed to be close together, nearly touching. However, in some 1999 circulation strikes, the mint mistakenly used a proof reverse die, which had a wider spacing between the A and the M. This wide AM variety is a dramatic and collectible error, with examples in circulated grades selling for $20 to $100, and high-grade mint state examples bringing $500 to $2,000 or more. Conversely, proof coins from 1999 have their own counterpart error, known as the close AM. In proof issues, the A and M are normally spaced widely apart, but a small number of proof coins were struck with circulation reverse dies that had the letters close together. These are even rarer than the circulation strike wide AM, and when they appear at auction, they command strong prices, sometimes $3,000 to $5,000 depending on grade and eye appeal. These AM varieties are not only valuable, but they also serve as an excellent reminder of how small design details can carry massive significance in the world of coin collecting. A tiny gap or lack of a gap between two letters can transform an ordinary penny into a prized treasure worth thousands of dollars. Beyond the wide AM and close AM varieties, The 1999 penny is also known to appear with classic mint errors such as off-center strikes, double strikes, and missing clad layers. Off-center examples, where part of the design is missing but the date remains visible, can sell for $50 to $200 depending on the percentage of the error. Double-struck pennies, where the coin was struck twice with visible doubling, can range from $100 to $300. Missing copper plating errors, where patches of the zinc core are exposed, are also collectible and can bring anywhere from $50 to $250 depending on size and placement of the missing layer. Auction history demonstrates just how valuable the 1999 penny can be when rarity and condition align. A 1999 Lincoln cent graded MS68 red by PCGS once sold for over $2,000, and examples in the same grade with the wide AM variety have topped $5,000. Proof 1999 S-Close AM pennies have sold for similar amounts, placing them among the most desirable modern Lincoln cents. What makes the 1999 penny even more fascinating is its role in bridging two important eras. It represents one of the final decades of the Lincoln Memorial reverse, which collectors had become accustomed to over nearly 50 years. At the same time, it anticipates the changes that were just around the corner. In 2009, the United States Mint celebrated the bicentennial of Lincoln's birth with 4 new reverse designs, followed by the permanent switch to the Union Shield reverse in 2010. For collectors, this makes late 1990s memorial cents, including the 1999 issue, part of the closing chapter of a long and familiar design era. For everyday people, a 1999 penny is usually nothing more than pocket change. But for those who know what to look for, it holds enormous potential. The wide AM variety, the close AM proof, the high-grade mint state and proof coins, and the dramatic mint errors all make this one of the most interesting pennies of its era. It shows how even in a year with billions of coins struck, rare treasures can slip into circulation and eventually be discovered by sharp-eyed collectors, so the next time you see a 1999 penny, don't just toss it aside. Hold it up to the light, check the strike, and most importantly, take a close look at the spacing between the A and M in America. That small detail could mean the difference between a coin worth 1 cent and one worth thousands. And even if it isn't the legendary wide AM or close AM, there's still a chance it could be a high-grade specimen or a unique error, both of which make the 1999 penny a coin well worth examining closely. Coin collecting thrives on stories like this. How the ordinary becomes extraordinary, how a small detail creates immense value, and how a simple penny from 1999 can connect the everyday world of pocket change with the thrilling world of rare auctions. And that is why the 1999 Lincoln cent continues to captivate collectors, turning what might appear to be the most common coin into one of the most exciting discoveries waiting to be found. The 2003 United States 1-cent penny may look like one of the most ordinary pieces of change you could possibly find, yet within its small copper-plated zinc body lies a story of history, design, and surprising value that goes far beyond its humble face value. By 2003, the Lincoln cent had already been in production for nearly a century, making it one of the longest-running coin series in U.S. history. Since its first appearance in 1909 to honor Abraham Lincoln's 100th birthday, this coin has been a fixture of American pockets, purses, and piggy banks. In fact, many Americans have handled thousands of 2003 pennies without giving them a second thought. Yet, as with so many coins, the details, condition, and rare minting mistakes can transform an everyday coin into a collectible worth far more than 1 cent on the obverse. The 2003 penny features the enduring portrait of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner. This bust of Lincoln, facing right, has become one of the most iconic coin designs in history. To Lincoln's left appears the word Liberty, while just above his shoulder lies the date 2003. The familiar phrase, "In God we trust," arcs across the top. It's worth noting that by 2003, the penny was already widely recognized not just for its long-running design, but also for the symbolic power of featuring a president who guided the nation through its greatest trial, the Civil War, on one of the most commonly circulated coins in the country. The reverse still carried the design that had been in use since 1959, the Lincoln Memorial, designed by Frank Gasparo. At the center, the memorial stands with sharp architectural lines, and when the coin is well struck, one can even make out the tiny seated figure of Lincoln inside. Across the top arcs United States of America, with E Pluribus Unum inscribed just above the memorial. The denomination 1 cent anchors the bottom. This design had replaced the original wheat ears reverse in 1959 to mark Lincoln's 150th birthday, and it continued until 2008. In terms of composition, the 2003 Lincoln cent followed the standard that had been in place since 1982. A core of zinc with a thin copper plating. Each coin weighed 2.5 grams, with a diameter of 19 millimeters. This change in composition from mostly copper to copper-plated zinc had been made due to the rising cost of copper in the early 1980s, and by 2003, collectors were well aware that the modern zinc pennies could develop issues like spotting and corrosion over time if not properly stored. The Philadelphia and Denver mints were responsible for striking the circulation pennies in 2003, producing billions in total. Philadelphia struck over 3.3 billion coins, while Denver struck more than 3.5 billion. The San Francisco Mint, as usual, produced proof coins for collectors, struck with highly polished dies and planchets that gave them mirror-like fields and frosted devices. With such high mintages, most 2003 pennies will never be worth more than face value. Billions entered circulation, where they were scratched, dinged, and worn down. However, collectors know to look for two key factors: condition and errors. Condition is the first point where value skyrockets. Circulated examples, no matter how nice, are worth a cent. But when preserved in mint state condition with sharp details, blazing luster, and no noticeable marks, the 2003 penny can become desirable. Coins graded MS67 or MS68 by professional grading services like PCGS or NGC can bring premiums of $50 to $300, sometimes even more. A 2003 D penny graded MS69 red once sold for nearly $2,000 at auction. An astonishing figure for a coin that could easily have slipped through someone's hands at the grocery store. Proof coins, too, carry strong collector interest. A 2003 S-proof penny-graded PR70 Deep Cameo, the highest possible grade, can sell for $100 to $200 depending on demand. The flawless mirrored fields and sharp frosted details on such a coin are breathtaking compared to the dull, worn cents most people see in their change. But what really excites collectors are errors and varieties. The 2003 Lincoln cent is known for several dramatic errors. Off-center strikes are among the most visually striking. A 2003 penny with about 50% of its design missing due to an off-center strike, while still showing the date, can sell for $100 to $250. If the off-center strike is more extreme or unusual, the value can climb even higher. Double strikes are another valuable type of error. A coin struck more than once, with images overlapping or shifted, can bring hundreds of dollars depending on the severity of the mistake. These errors are both fascinating and rare because they show how chaotic the minting process can be when machinery malfunctions. Wrong planchet errors are some of the most valuable of all. A 2003 penny accidentally struck on a dime or nickel planchet would immediately be a prized rarity. Such mistakes can sell for thousands of dollars, since they combine rarity with dramatic appearance. Collectors love the visual oddity of a penny design crammed onto the wrong-sized blank. Die cracks and cuds are also seen on some 2003 pennies. While small die cracks may only add modest value, larger cracks or dramatic cuds, where part of the die has broken away, leaving a raised blob of metal on the coin, can fetch $50 to $200 depending on size and location point. One of the more famous collectible categories of the 2003 penny involves double dies, though no major double die varieties have been confirmed for this year on the scale of the famous 1955 or 1969 S-cents. Still, collectors constantly search 2003 coins for doubling on the date, Liberty, or In God We Trust. Even minor examples can command a premium. Auction records tell the story clearly. A 2003 D penny graded MS69 red sold for nearly $2,000, while multiple 2003 P examples in MS68 red have sold between $200 and $500. Proofs in PR70 Deep Cameo regularly sell in the $100 to $200 range. Error coins, such as off-center strikes and double strikes, have sold from $150 to $400. Wrong planchet examples, the rarest of all, have broken the $3,000 mark in auctions. These figures prove that even a coin minted in the billions can carry hidden treasures if you know what to look for. The 2003 penny also sits at an interesting place in history. Just 5 years later, in 2008, the long-running Lincoln Memorial reverse would be retired, replaced by a series of special designs in 2009 for the bicentennial of Lincoln's birth, and then by the shield reverse in 2010. Thus, the 2003 penny is part of the final stretch of Lincoln memorial cents, coins that today already feel nostalgic for many collectors who grew up seeing them in their everyday change. For new collectors, the lesson of the 2003 penny is a simple one. Condition and rarity make all the difference. While billions exist, only a handful remain in near-perfect condition, and only a few were struck with dramatic errors that make them stand out. These are the coins that command high prices at auction. The rest, while not valuable in monetary terms, still tell a story of history, of the mint's production, and of America's continued celebration of one of its most important presidents. Imagine the thrill of holding a handful of change and noticing a 2003 penny that looks unusually sharp. If it turns out to grade MS68 red, you could be holding a coin worth hundreds of dollars. And if by some miracle it's an error coin struck off-center or on the wrong planchet, the value could soar into the thousands. This possibility is what makes coin collecting so exciting. The idea that even the most ordinary coin in your pocket could turn out to be extraordinary. The 2003 US 1-cent penny, though small and often overlooked, is a coin with layers of history, design, and potential value. It honors Abraham Lincoln, continues a century-long tradition of the Lincoln cent, and reminds us that treasures can be found in the most ordinary of places. Whether worth a cent, $100, or several thousand, each 2003 penny has a story to tell, waiting for collectors and curious eyes to uncover it. The 2018 United States 1-cent penny is one of those coins that millions of Americans use every single day, often without a second thought. Small, copper-colored, and worth just a single cent, it might not seem like a coin worthy of much attention. But for collectors and coin enthusiasts, the 2018 penny is far more than just spare change. It carries history, design significance, and even hidden potential value for those who understand what makes certain examples special. The penny has been a staple of American coinage since 1793, and over the centuries it has undergone numerous design changes. By 2018, the penny featured the modern Union shield, design that was first introduced in 2010. This design replaced the long-running Lincoln Memorial reverse and was created to symbolize President Abraham Lincoln's preservation of the United States as a single, united nation, on the obverse, or front. The 2018 penny features the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner in 1909 to honor the centennial of Lincoln's birth. Lincoln faces right, and the inscriptions "In God We Trust," "Liberty," and the date 2018 appear around him. Just below the date is the mint mark, which could be a P for Philadelphia, a D for Denver, or an S for San Francisco, depending on where the coin was struck. The reverse of the 2018 penny showcases the Union shield designed by Lyndall Bass, with sculpting by Joseph Mena. The shield has 13 vertical stripes representing the original states, joined together under a single horizontal banner, symbolizing unity. Across the banner is the denomination 1 cent, and above the shield is the inscription United States of America. Beneath the shield is the traditional motto E pluribus unum, meaning out of many, one. Compositionally, the 2018 penny is not solid copper like its older predecessors. Since 1982, pennies have been made primarily from zinc with a thin copper plating. A 2018 penny weighs 2.5 grams, measures 19.05 millimeters in diameter, and has a plain edge. Billions of these coins were produced. Philadelphia struck more than 4.8 billion, Denver struck more than 5.3 billion, and San Francisco struck smaller numbers of proof coins specifically for collectors. With so many in circulation, most 2018 pennies are only worth their face value. However, as with all coins, the details matter. Collectors prize examples in pristine condition, known as mint state MS grades, and some coins feature rare minting errors that dramatically increase their value. For regular circulation strikes, a 2018 penny in grades MS67 and above can bring significant premiums. While most pennies, even fresh from a roll, will show small contact marks or dull surfaces, those graded MS67 or MS68 by services like PCGS or NGC are considered nearly flawless. At these grades, a coin that cost 1 cent can be worth $50 to $150 or more. MS69 examples, though extremely rare, have sold for several $100s at auction. Proof coins struck in San Francisco are also popular. These coins were made with specially polished dies and planchets, resulting in sharp details and mirror-like fields. A 2018 penny graded PR70 Deep Cameo, the highest possible grade, typically sells for $30 to $75, depending on demand. Errors, however, are where the 2018 penny becomes especially exciting. Even in an age of modern minting technology, mistakes slip through. These mistakes can transform a common cent into a highly collectible rarity point. One of the most valuable errors is the double die variety. This occurs when the design elements appear doubled due to a misalignment in the die-making process. A 2018 penny with visible doubling on the inscriptions or Lincoln's portrait could easily sell for hundreds of dollars. Off-center strikes are another dramatic error. These coins show part of the design missing, with a blank crescent of planchet visible. The more off-center the strike, the rarer and more valuable the coin becomes, especially if the date is still intact. Such examples can fetch anywhere from $50 to $200. Transitional or wrong planchet errors are exceedingly rare but incredibly valuable. If a 2018 penny were mistakenly struck on a blank intended for another denomination, such as a dime or nickel, it would become a sought-after treasure worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Missing plating errors are also collectible. Since modern pennies are copper-plated zinc, sometimes the thin outer copper layer is missing on one or both sides, revealing the silvery zinc core. These errors are visually striking and can sell for $100 to $250 depending on condition. Auction results show the surprising value of these coins. For example, a 2018 D penny graded MS68 by PCGS sold for nearly $200, while several proof 2018 S coins in PR70 Deep Cameo have consistently brought $50 to $75. Off-center strikes and missing plating examples have sold in the $150 to $300 range, showing that collectors are eager to acquire unusual examples of even modern pennies. What makes the 2018 penny especially interesting is that it bridges tradition with modern minting. Abraham Lincoln has appeared on the penny for more than a century, making it the longest-running portrait in U.S. coinage history. At the same time, the Union Shield reverse is a more recent design, connecting the coin to the 21st century. This combination makes the 2018 penny both familiar and fresh. Think of it this way. Billions of these coins exist, tossed into piggy banks, passed in change, or left forgotten in drawers. Yet within those billions lie hidden gems, nearly flawless coins, rare minting errors, and proof examples that shine like mirrors. To the untrained eye, they look like any other penny. But to collectors, they represent opportunities to own something rare, valuable, and tied to the long story of America's coinage. The 2018 U.S. penny shows that even the smallest denomination in the nation's currency can hold hidden worth. For most, it will remain just a cent. But for the keen-eyed collector, it can be a piece of treasure worth many times more than its face value. A reminder that sometimes, the greatest finds are hidden in plain sight.